My sister's lies led to an arrest, a restraining order, and the most chaotic family drama ever. So this all started yesterday, when I, 22F, had a date planned with a guy. He ended up not showing, so naturally, I texted the group chat about it. My sister is in this particular group chat. I'm guessing my sister Sarah, 26F, told her best friend Jay, 27M, about it because a few minutes later, Jay texted me to ask if I was okay. I told him yes, just a little disappointed since I was pretty excited to try that particular restaurant. He said that he would pick me up at noon the next day so we could go eat there. I told him it wasn't necessary, but he insisted, so I agreed, thinking nothing of it. Well, today he took me out as promised, and while we were eating, Sarah FaceTimed Jay. When he didn't answer, she called again and again. He answered the fourth call and asked her what was going on. She said that she was just checking up on us and told me to call her later. Later ended up being almost 8 hours. Jay and I ended up spending the rest of the day together, hunting down some collectible dolls we both like and trying different dessert spots along the way. On the way back to my apartment, Jay asked me to change the music on his phone. When I opened it, I saw that my sister had called him about 30 times throughout the day and texted him across multiple different apps. Jay put his phone on Do Not Disturb after lunch, so it made sense why he didn't see those notifications. Once he dropped me off, I called my sister and asked her if everything was all right. She said yes and asked if I had forgotten to call her back sooner. I told her that I was out with Jay, so I didn't get the chance and figured it could wait since she didn't call me. She hung up, and a few minutes later, I got a call from my mom. She sounded angry and told me that I should be ashamed of myself. I said sure, but why today? According to my mom, Sarah called her in tears, saying that she had caught Jay and me being intimate in their apartment. I was so incredibly confused. I told my mom that I did not, in fact, have any intimate relations with Jay, and that I didn't even know they lived together. I asked her to give me a minute, and I called Jay, but he didn't answer. So now I am here laying on my floor, wondering what the hell is going on, and putting off another conversation with my mom. Update 1. I wanted to clear up some confusion before the update. In my original post, when my mom told me that Sarah and Jay shared an apartment, I said, I didn't even know they lived together. Those were my exact words to her because last I knew, Sarah had a roommate and Jay lived alone. I was right, that's still the case. Sorry I wasn't clear about that. I'm bad at expressing myself sometimes. Another thing is, people were wondering how Jay found out about my date, or lack thereof. According to him, he was hanging out with a few of his friends, including my sister, and she told him about it in a joking way. Another thing is that some people are asking why I went out with Jay if I knew my sister liked him. I didn't know. Just because I talk to my sister doesn't mean she talks to me the same way. If I had known, I would have talked to her about it first, because I know from past experience that my sister is a jealous person. Anyway, last night was a doozy. Jay called me back and said he was going to stay at a friend's place because he would feel safer with company. I asked him if there had ever been anything romantic between him and my sister. He said the only thing was that he kissed her at a New Year's party at midnight because she was feeling left out. Obviously, I can't confirm if that really is the only thing. He also said that he had never even talked about moving in with Sarah, so he doesn't know why she would say they were living together. After I spoke with Jay, I called my mom again. She still sounded pissed, but this time I could hear my sister crying in the background and my dad yelling to get our asses over there, ours being Jay and me, presumably. Well, as I told my mother earlier, I didn't have Jay's ass, and I don't like to drive at night, so I told them I would go the next morning. That also gave me time to gather any evidence I could to prove my innocence. Jay even sent me a copy of his lease to prove that he and Sarah do not live together. I went to my parents alone because Jay has a job. As soon as I arrived, my parents started yelling at me, the usual stuff, that I was disrespectful, that they never expected this from me, how dare I do this to my own sister, and how I know she already has a hard time, so why make her life harder? My dad even called me a whore. That was fun. I kind of just sat there and did the math on how much faster I would be able to finish my grad program and flee the country, or at least the state. I wasn't very tuned in until my mom told me that if Sarah lost her job because of me, I would need to financially support her until she found another one. That's when I snapped and told them that if they thought I was going to do that, then they were as delusional as my sister. Missing one day of work because of a tantrum over something that didn't even happen was not going to get her fired. My dad said that Sarah had been missing work to make sure that Jay wasn't leaving work early to go see me. I found out my sister also told them that Jay was missing a lot of work, so he wasn't taking enough home for their bills, and they had been sending her rent money for months. I told them it wasn't true and showed them the lease Jay sent, which clearly states when the lease started and ends. It also had his address, which is not the same as Sarah's. My mom brought Sarah out of her room, where she had apparently been this entire time, and told her to explain herself. Sarah said that he probably got that other apartment so he could be closer to me when he went on supposed business trips. First of all, Jay is a software developer. I don't know what business trips he would go on. Second, nice way to find out that my sister doesn't even know where I live because Jay's apartment is almost an hour away from mine. I showed my parents that on Google Maps, and they finally started to believe me. Sarah started crying and calling me a liar. My dad told me that even if what I said was true, I shouldn't have been so hard on Sarah, and that as her sister, I should be helping her when she's having a rough time like this. I told him I wasn't a therapist, but if she ever decided to get help, I would pitch in. I left after that. There was nothing else I needed to say, and there was no point in waiting on an apology. My dad looked uncomfortable, and my mom was too busy consoling my sister to notice me leaving. I haven't talked to them since then. Sorry if you were expecting a fun update where I somehow got revenge on my sister or something crazy and petty. If you have questions, I'll probably answer. Thanks for caring though, and to those of you who shared your own stories under my original post, damn, sorry you went through that. Update 2. I don't really know how to start this post, but I felt obligated to write an update after everyone sent me so much love and support. There were a couple of questions I saw were pending when I logged back in, so I'll answer those first. Jay got a permanent restraining order against my sister. It took some months and a lot more harassment, but he has that now. As for why my sister was lying to get money from our parents, I couldn't tell you. I don't know where all the money was going, but I'm pretty sure she lied because she didn't want them to be disappointed in her. A lot has happened, but to sum up, my sister was arrested for violating the restraining order and breaking into my home. My parents were furious with me after I didn't help bail her out. They blame me for her getting arrested and for losing the 3 jobs she's had since my last post. Since then, I have not had any contact with my mom or my sister. My dad called to wish me a happy new year, but that's about it. Also, I finished my master's, and after countless job applications and rejections, I finally found a job in my field. It's far away from where I currently live, which is a major plus. I'm sad to be leaving my friends, but I'm so excited to start this new chapter in my life. Overall, I think I am in a much better place mentally than I was when I first came on to write my post. I intended to use Reddit as a tool for journaling, but I think that didn't really work for me. So I've found different methods to express and reflect on my feelings and situations. I think I'll still use my account, but probably just for trivial things that will hopefully not get very much attention.